Tuna community yetu ya GDG Dar Salaam ambayo kama nilivyokuambia mwanzo maana yake ni kwamba ni Google Developer Group. Na kwenye Google wana program mbalimbali ambazo zinaweza zikasaidia local developers kukaa pamoja na kuweza kubadilishana mawazo. Moja ya programu hizo ni Google Developer Group ambayo kimsingi yenyewe inawakutanisha developer kwenye eneo husika ili kuweza kubadilishana mawazo, na pia kuna support ambazo wanatoa kuhakikisha kwamba hivi vikundi vinaweza vikakutana vikapata access. Na recently mimi binafsi nimepata access ya kujaribu hizi tools za AI tools za Google. Kwa hiyo na pia tunaweza tukashare hizo access kwa community zetu ili waweze kuwa first try out ya haya matoleo ambayo Google wamekuwa wakiyafanya kwenye lineup ya teknolojia ya kwao yote pamoja. Kwa hicho ndo kitu kikubwa lengo la hizi community ambazo ziko kwenye kwa maeneo yetu. Na kwa upande wa Tanzania tuna active GDG group kama mbili hivi, Dar es Salaam na Arusha, lakini vile vile nafikiri kuna muda fulani Mwanza pia ilikuwepo ina chapter ya GDG. Sasa nimefungua kwenye hii hapa platform na tayari nimekwisha kushare hapo kwenye chat ili uweze kuangalia linki, na kama hujawa joined tayari basi unaweza kujoin. Na moja ya majukumu makubwa ambayo sisi tunayafanya na pamoja na organizers wenzangu kama unavyoweza hapo kuona kwenye hiyo sehemu ya organizer wa GDG Dar Salaam ni kuhakikisha tunawakutanisha nyinyi developer na kuhakikisha kwamba tunaweza kutumia hii nafasi ambayo Google ameitoa kuweza kuwashirikisha wenzetu. Na kumbuka programu hii kama nilivyoeleza mwanzoni ni ya kujitolea tu, lakini hapa kuna event mbalimbali ambazo tumekwisha kuziandaa. The most famous one itakuwa ni DevFest Dar es Salaam ambayo inafanyika around October to November, na mwezi huu wa 6 kutokana na pressure kubwa sana ambayo ipo kwenye duniani kote kwenye teknolojia kuhusiana na AI, ndo kuna hii event ya Build with AI, lakini hapo mwanzoni tulikuwa tunaita Google I.O. ambayo kimsingi saizi kwenye Google I.O. tunazungumza zaidi kuhusiana na Build with AI. So Google I.O. ni kila mwaka na around mwezi wa 6 hivi, mwezi wa 5 nadhani, Google na wenyewe huwa wanafanya Worldwide Developer Conference ili kutoa release ya teknolojia zao ambazo wamekwisha kuzifanya, na hiyo inaleta fursa sasa kupata first hand, then from there kutoka kule Marekani na kwingine kote duniani tunaanza kureview nini kimetokea. Kwa hiyo hiyo ni kwa uchache tu, na nilikuwa ninatamani sana watu wengi waweze kujoin hii community ya GDG Dar es Salaam. Nafikiri kwa sasa tuna members around 800 na kitu hivi, lakini ukiangalia maeneo mengine yanayofanya vizuri zaidi kwenye program kama hizi na wanapata ufadhili mkubwa sana ili kuweza kufika mbali zaidi kutoka kwenye makampuni mbalimbali na pamoja na Google wenyewe, lakini kikubwa ni ule mwamko wa developer katika sehemu husika, na hapa ninazungumzia hapa nyumbani Tanzania. It's very important kwamba na mwamko ukipatikana means tutaweza kufanya mambo makubwa sana. Kwa hiyo usije kaandaa event kubwa lakini watu ambao watashow up wakawa wachache. Nitakupatia mfano recent nafikiri mwaka 2022 hivi niweza kuhudhuria moja ya event ambayo iliandaliwa na GDG Nairobi nchini Kenya. Huwezi kuamini kulikuwa kuna watu zaidi ya 3,000 ambao walienda kushiriki kwenye hiyo nafikiri ilikuwa ni DevFest, Developer Festival ya mwezi wa 11 hivi kule nchini Kenya. Lakini ni vipi tunawapata hawa developer 3,000 ambao watakuja na kushiriki kwenye makongamano ya teknolojia hasa yanayohusu teknolojia inayo affect mazingira ya hapa nyumbani. Na hilo ndo jambo kubwa ambalo tunaweza kufanya. The maximum kwenye community yetu tumeweza kureach ni kwenye event moja, nadhani haijai kuzidi 200, 150, 160 au watu 100 tu. hili ndilo ambalo tunatakiwa kulifanyia kazi sisi hapa nyumbani Tanzania, kuweza kupush sasa hiyo agenda, kuweza kuleta mwamko mzuri zaidi. Na once we do that, manake tunakuwa tuna jeshi kubwa la developer ambao wanakuwa wana uwezo, capacity, na from there ina maana tutaweza kufanya mambo mengi. Na hii italeta fursa eye opening kwa makampuni ya kimataifa au makampuni ya hapa ndani kuja kuwekeza hapa, kuja kufanya vitu vingi au kutafuta wataalamu kutokea hapa nyumbani Tanzania. Lakini tukiwa tumejificha, maana yake ni nini? Ni kwamba hakuna watu ambao wanatuona kwamba kuna active strong developers walioko katika nchi yetu, which I believe it's not the case. Ninafahamu kuna watu wengi ambao wana vipaji, very talented, ambao wapo hapa nyumbani Tanzania, but we need to show the world tupo na we are active developers. Ukitazama Nairobi, I can keep referring to that kwa sababu it is very close to us, na wao wameweza kufanya hivyo. Kampuni kama Oracle, Microsoft, Meta, you name it, Google, wote wapo nchini Nairobi. They have the capacity, wana watu ambao tayari wana show up kuonyesha kwamba uwezo wao ni nini. Kwa hiyo lazima, hata kama tuna uwezo, hata kama tuna nafasi fulani, ni lazima tuonyeshe kwamba tuna kitu ambacho tunaweza tukakifanyia kazi. This is very important. I wanted to highlight that. Kwa hiyo make sure you join up kwenye chapter yetu ya GDG Dar es Salaam. Kwa sababu bado muda ninao, nitajaribu kuonyesha kwa mfano Nairobi, Lagos, these are the highest community developers kwenye barani Afrika. Ngoja nijaribu kuangalia hapa Nairobi. GDG Nairobi. Umeona kwetu sisi pale tunao developer ambao wako registered wangapi? Wako 800. Lakini GDG Nairobi ina members wangapi? 7227. This is the impact ambao wanafanya. Na hawa ndio watu ambao wanaweza they can show up na wako active, they are angry to get that knowledge ambayo inaweza ikawafikisha hapo. Na from population point of view, bado nadhani kwamba bado nadhani kwamba Kenya wana population ndogo kushinda sisi. So I was expecting kwamba sisi ndio tutakuwa tuko wengi zaidi kushow up kwenye opportunity kama hizi hapa. Naweza nikarudi nikuoneshe pia GDG Lagos na wenyewe ni nani ambazo zina nguvu sana, na nitakwambia hapo hiyo inawasaidia Lagos Nigeria, GDG Nairobi, Lagos Nigeria. Kwa upande wa GDG Lagos wako ngapi? 6,000. Kwa hawa ni members ambao wako tayari, na kwenye event kama hizi hapa, when this happens, ndo hata ukiangalia picha hii ni kwamba kuna watu wengi wanaweza participate, which ni kitu ambacho tunaweza tukafanya collectively, kuangalia kwamba ni vipi tunaweza tukawashawishi pia watu wetu wakajoin kwenye hizi sessions. Kampuni zote kubwa, they will be happy to support, watakuwa wanafuraha kuona kwamba kuna impact ambayo wanaileta. Lakini that's not the case kwetu, ambayo tunatakiwa ni kitu ambacho tukifanya kazi. I wanted to highlight that. I think if I go up to 10:50 I can start kupokea maswali kutoka kwenu, kama kuna maswali, ushauri, so that we can build this community na kuipandisha hadhi kama nchi yetu. Edgar, any additional comment? Na pia tutapokea maoni kutoka kwenu so that tuwe vizuri.
Oh yeah, and thank you for the brief. Actually, it's very nice and well thought of. I'm so sorry, Asito tumia Kiswahili as perfect as you. I will try my best, but
That's okay.
I have a little wind in my room. Okay, so one of the things that I also noticed from interacting with this GDG community is actually, when I started this developer journey way back in 2022, I didn't know where to go until I started to join communities, and I stumbled into GDG. And that's where I met people, like big people in AI. Like I met with the founder of Yaliyojiri, who created Kamusi. We're talking to a person who made Rafiki AI in here. Also, I met with Jordan Karibu, the creator of Neurotech Africa. And from there, you just get like more exposure for what you get to do more. And not from here, not only from these events that are hosted locally, also from GDG, people get access to interact with people from different backgrounds. So for example, today we're going to have someone from Congo and someone else from a different country. They have like a different perspective, a different exposure from where we can learn the most. So I think this is like a greatest opportunity that we have, but we're taking them for granted, especially for this virtual event. People will be like, oh, so it's online, so there's nothing much, no merch, no food, no nothing. But I think people benefit more from virtual events than the physical events. If you remove the merch and food, which we go for mostly. And like a fun fact is that with the GDG community and the events, I think there are more, what do you say? There are more chances to get access to the most free tools that you can get out of the community. So for example, I attended one of the Google hackathon, completely free. It was hosted online for like 2 days. Then there was like a final competition day. And from there, I met with one of the employees from SEB, that's a Swedish bank. And he explained like how they're doing development in their company. So he told me how to use Google Cloud server functions, which is basically like hosting a server, but without hosting a server. So it's like you're just deploying a function that will act as a server. And I was like, how can you do this without actually paying anything? Then he showed me like it's freaking easy. Like simple things. Wanakwambia salimia watu. I think that's what they meant. Like just communicate better. So I'm just happy to have this event hosted by Yesaya, and I can't wait to learn more from this. And also, we need to be proud of our language. So if you hear me speak English, I'm so sorry, but we have to use Swahili in our AI development for some reasons. We have to be patriots, wazalendo kwa lugha yetu. So I would like to put like a special shout out to Yaliyojiri. If you have time, au ukiwa na muda, you can go through them. This company, they're doing a very good job with making sure that we all get access to AI in Tanzania. So if you can see my screen, you see this. They're called Yaliyojiri, founded by, oh dear Lord, I forgot his name, but one of the most active AI community members. The nice thing is the founder also helped with the growth of UDism AI Club, which is also perfect. He used to alikuwa anaenda tutorials and trainers about AI, and recently they released like a bunch of tools to help us with like local development and stuff. And most of these are all open source, everything open source. So if you go to the GitHub repo, you get everything. So for now they have and this is like, it's a dictionary for Swahili language, but behind the scenes, it's using AI models, and some of them are locally trained. So I think that's like the perfect way to honor our community. So this guy started from communities, and yet he's launching tools to help us grow. So like you can see there's a positive development from whatever we're doing. And like without saying much or taking more time, I think yes, I can take on from here.
Yes, asante Edgar. This was very informative. Na kwenye chat nafikiri kuna mtu amekutumia anaitwa Zephania Ruben.
Yeah, Zephania Ruben. Yes.
Yes, interesting. Naweza nikashare screen one more time just to give you highlight kuhusiana na Google Developer Expert. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I believe you can see my screen. Yes. All right. Kwa hiyo apart from ile niliyokuambia ni GDG Google Developer Group, kuna program nyingine ambayo pia iko na Google. Unfortunately, kwa bahati mbaya sana Tanzania hatuna hata mtu mmoja ambaye ni Google Developer Expert. Na to be a Google Developer Expert, ni kama hatuna hizo sifa, ndio maana hatupo. Lakini nadhani kwamba kuna fursa kubwa ya kuwa Google Developer Expert, na ukishakuwa Google Developer Expert you can travel the world bila hata kuwa na shilingi moja. Kila kitu kitakuwa handled by Google and you'll be delivering presentation across these GDG chapters kokote duniani. Kwa hiyo nadhani pia ni fursa nzuri ambayo unaweza ukaitumia, na pia kwenye conference muhimu kabisa kama Google I.O. unaweza sometime uka participate na ukaenda being sponsored by Google yenyewe. Kwa hiyo ninahitaji kwamba au ninaomba kwamba take your time, nenda ka research about how to be a Google Developer Expert, na kuna maoni mengi ambayo kama unataka kuconnect na watu ambao wataweza kukusaidia kuwa Google Developer Expert, just reach out to me. Lakini unahitaji kuwa consistent, create your presence kwenye mtandao, kwa maana internet. Kama tayari una GitHub, unaandika kwenye Medium, una share kwenye YouTube, that's the key ambacho kitakufanya wa note kwamba wewe ndio expert kwenye hilo eneo. Na baada ya hapo kuna a series of interviews kuconfirm knowledge ya kwako, then from there unaweza ukaparticipate kwenye kutoa mihadhara na fursa yote ambayo inaweza ikajitokeza kwa kuingia kwenye program ya Google Developer Expert, which I highly encouraged. Ukienda Kenya kuna expert wengi zaidi, lakini hapa nyumbani bado tuko and I believe kwamba wewe ni mtu ambaye unaweza ukatusaidia kutoa hiyo So just reach out to me kama you're interested in that, na kwa sababu ili uweze kuwa developer expert ni lazima upate recommendation kutoka kwa developer expert mmoja wapo, then aweze kusupport, kukupa nini tunaita mentorship, ili uweze kufikia kwenye malengo hayo ambayo umejiwekea. Okay. So you are joined with me and Edgar from GDG Dar, Salaam, but we have a lot of people ready to listening to you.
Okay.
Maybe you can give us a hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm very, very happy to join. A little bit stressed because that have been like a long time for me to be like talking in an event online, because I'm actually used to do in person. So let me just try this time. Maybe I will not be perfect, but let me just try and get the feeling back to me to doing workshop online, because in general it's really like more difficult to do workshop online than in person. For our workshop today, the focus will be around Gemma tree and also the function calling. Before going deep diving inside to move on our subject, I don't know if there is a round of presentation, there is something, or I can already jump on my presentation. Edgar?
Yes. I think we were just waiting for you, so we
okay.
can proceed just with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Let me just share my screen. I was already saying, so during our workshop for this afternoon will be I don't have like a specific presentation. For our workshop will be using this link. It describes step by step what we are going to do. So I already like cooked a collab, so we are going to go through it. But before, I will just start with a quick introduction to try to fix some concepts to explain what we'll be talking about during our session. So just take the time to visit the link. It will be very interesting for you, because you will have step by step all the step we are going to do during our talk, our workshop. So firstly, I want you to understand what is the function calling. So if you go through the presentation, through the link, they just explain what is the function calling. Let me just share it. It will be more simple for everyone to understand, so I can quickly get all the questions from there. It will be more simple. Hope everyone have already access to the link. It's the first step. Okay, great. I think you. Okay, that's perfect. So we are going to talk about function calling with Gemma. So what you just have to understand is a function calling is not something like a special thing. The function calling is more about the way of defining instruction in programming interface by requesting to a LLM. And that interface, sorry, just give me 1 minute.
Expert on machine learning. So machine learning. Yep.
I'm back. Sorry. I guess someone was like knocking on my door. So I was saying that during our session today, we'll be using this is the resource. This is the main resource of our session. We'll be using also backlog just down. When you scroll down, you will see there is 3 collab. We'll be using the first collab, second collab during the workshop. So you have all the resources on this link. That's why I really appreciate the fact of sharing it before moving forward. So I was explaining what is function calling, and during this session, because it's more a workshop, so it's not a technical talk, but it's a workshop. So I just want you to be free asking questions, and also if there is a volunteer on the audience who want to be my partner on demonstrating, on cooking the collab together, it will be fine. So firstly, I started by defining the concept to explain what is function calling and what we are going to do together during this workshop. So firstly, to just fix the concept, I was explaining that the function calling is not something special, because I just read many people around, they are talking about function calling because it's more about the vibe around agentic. Let me come back and explain again in a simple way. So the function calling is just a way. Let me start with agent. When you have an agent is a system powered by an LLM, large language model, and the agent can understand requests, reason, take an action to achieve a goal, a specific goal. And when you give a task, this system understands the task, the resources. Usually it can be a short-term memory on the system, on LLM, because just remind that LLM don't have memories, but they have a short-term memories, and that helps them to have what we call the context of your request. So and the tool to act that the agent system. The agent system have to understand the request, the reason, and take the action to achieve a specific goal. So this action, this is the part of the action of an agent action. That's what we call function calling. It's a part of an agent action. And commonly, when you are doing a function calling, we use a JSON files. It's a format of structured action. It's taken to take, because the JSON is the standard of structured format and easily understand the computers and the APIs. If the agent needs to interact with internal tools, like, for example, a weather API, a database, or a calculator, telling the tool what to do in the JSON format is much more reliable than using an LLM, a natural language. For example, if you ask what's the weather in Dar es Salaam, and the agent may internally decide if it needs to call a weather tool, or it could potentially output something like this, for example, like a structure output of a function calling. Can be, for example, tools to use weather API, parameters, city, Dar es Salaam, unit, Celsius. And when the function calling is precisely that calling, that fact that the agent is taking the action through what you need, and the advantage is that the main difference with the LLM, you are just asking him what is something, but when you are using the function calling, is more about you are pushing the agent to take an action. You are giving like I said before, you are giving him a context, you are giving him a reason, and you have just to take the action. So I think here the concept is more clear. Before moving, if there is any question, just don't hesitate. So first, when you are doing the part of function, first you give the LLM a list of available functions, which represents tools or APIs it can use. That can include, for example, the name of the function. For example, can be for our example, it can be get current weather, and you have also to give it a description of what it does. For example, it can be get the current weather of a specific location. In our case, it was like Dar es Salaam, and a description of the parameters it needs. It can be the location, string required, unit, string. So like I was explaining before, I just tried to explain how the function calling works in general. So if there is any question, we can move before now to jump on the collab. And here is the time, if there is a volunteer on the audience who want to be my partner on doing this. Is there someone in the audience who want to be my volunteer, my colleague, my partner? So just want everyone to jump on this. This is the first link on. This is the first collab on the link, but there is also the second one and the third one. So I just want you to understand, after actually understand the call programming function, what is called function calling. I want you now to just understand how this is implemented, and through the process, through how this has been defined, you should just understand that when we say we are doing function calling, just keep in mind that it's just about giving an action, giving a specific description of an action that an LLM can take and try to respond to you, to a specific request. And in this case, it's more about giving to the LLM specific description on what should be the function you should call, the name, the parameters, and the outputs in general cases. And during this collab, we are going to understand what should be, how this is implemented, and what is the key part that can help you to understand how to implement it in each case. So let us move on this part through this collab. So I'm just waiting for if there is any question on this part before moving to the second part, which is more about the presentation. Just quick view on the chat. No question. Okay, perfect. So now let me just ask you a question. Is there Is there someone in the audience who knows the difference between Gemma 2 and Gemma 3? What are the description? What makes the difference between the Gemma 2 and the Gemma 3? Because on the collab, it's Gemma 2. But in this talk, we are going to talk about much advanced with Gemma 3. Is there someone who knows what changed? What are the updates with Gemma 3 on the audience? Feel free to just give an answer to the chat. If someone got the answer, describe it, and I will give a free. Let's say I will give a award to the person who will give the best answer. Please don't use Gemini or internet. I want a non-generated answer, AI generated answer. So let's move on the Gemma on this collab. Like I explained, it's more about agentics. Why agentics? Like as I already said, it's more about using a specific feature that is used with agents to push an LLM to be able to do more than just describing a request or answer to a request, but also to take an action. So how does it works? Let's move to in this collab and just explain you quickly what are the key steps. So firstly, you should have to load the model. Why load the model? Because the difference between Gemini, and Gemma is the open source model. The open, no, it's not open source, because open source is for the codes. In AI, we say we have open model and we have open model and we have open AIs. There is a difference between open models and open AIs. Open AIs is not just the model, which is open, but also the weights and the data sets. And in the case of Gemma, of Gemma, it's an open model. We have the model which is open. And the difference with Gemma is a proprietary model, but Gemma is the open model of Google. So when it comes on the open model side, we have to load it. So the first part of this request should be to load the model. You should load it on the cloud, because here it's your space. So you have some description of the layers, the Gemma tokenizers, and also you have a quick description of the capabilities of the model, just given just there. And the second part is the let's say is the magic part, where magic happens. Is the react part, where you combine the instruction you want the agent to take, and you are describing the request. And for that, you should be giving specific details. Firstly, you should give him the tools. And here, just remind yourself that here the tools are the functions you are giving to him. It can be get historical events, get person. In this case, is get historical events, get person info, get. And after this, you should describe the thought, what you think, and the action you should take. When you describe it, this isn't the part of the system. Part of the system is the part where the model should understand what are the requirements and what are the asks. And oh, sorry, I just scroll down. Yeah, I'm always here. And in the last part of this code, it's just about testing the prompt and printing the response. And this should be more about giving him the max length of response, which we should influence the context. And the next part here is more about the API call result. And in the API call result, just keep in mind this part is more about giving a kind of not results, but kind of the structure of the information and of the feedback you want. And it should be the test part where the API should come to take the structure of the key result that should come back to the system. And here it is, and you have a quick way of doing it. So you have, in general case, you have three big parts. Firstly, you load the model. Secondly, you describe. And thirdly, you give it an example. And in general cases, it's more about the API call result. Here it is. Now you understand how this works. Hope everyone have already click on the link, have already his collab ready to move. And now we can create our own space. You just move there, save it on your drive, and you will be ready to move up. Okay, so how can we get Gemma tree to the setup of Gemma tree? So for that, we'll be moving to another website resource on Google. Let us download Gemma tree and implement it quickly here. So I'm just sending to you the link on the chat. It will be more simple for you to move up. Let me share the link so everyone should be in the same. Okay, here am I. You got the resource. Now we are ready to move. So now we're going to work on this collab to transform it to agent with JavaScript. And it's more easy to do when you understand how load the model. So because we have already, if you have already this collab, you have already the first part, which is the loading model, is the only part we are going to change. And for that, we have to understand some concepts. Firstly, the first concept you should understand here is about the difference of, so it's more about how to download a model, how to load a model, a Gemma model. And I just asked to you guys if there is someone who knows the features, the specification of Gemma tree. I didn't receive any answer. Let me just check on the chat if there is someone who got the good answer before me answering. No. People are cold. What's happening? People are cold. I don't have any feedback. I don't feel well if there is no feedback. Hey, I'm just trying the methodology of a friend of mine. Mambo VP, guys, are you still there? Any question?
Poa.
Mambo VP.
Poa.
Is it a deep technical session? Because I feel like I'm disconnected with people. Guys, please say hello on the chat. Say hello on the chat. Hello. Okay. Let me just try to receive some question. Just feel free. Ask any question before me moving on the technical part with this collab. Feel free. Ask any question. Me, I just ask one question. I said Gemma 2, this Gemma 3 keep updates. Already explain you what is the difference between Gemini with Gemma. Gemini is the proprietary model. Gemma is the open source model. The difference between is that with Gemini, you don't have access to the model. What you do, you are just using the capabilities of the model, which is being implemented. So you have the Gemini ecosystem and you have the Gemini tools. For example, you have the Gemini LLM, which is what we call Gemini, is the product. So you interact with the product. But you have Gemma, which is the open model. You can go to a store where you can find all the model. And we have many kind of store of models like that. And one of the most known and famous is Hugging Face. And we are going to visit it and just to see how we can download a model from there. And we are going to try to move this collab from agentic AI with Gemma 2 to Gemma 3. That is what we are going to do in the next 15 minutes. So just want you to give me feedback if you understand, if you have, or if it's clear for you what is the function calling and what we are going to do in the next 15 minutes. Anyone to give me a kind of answer? Can someone try to explain me what is function calling? If I can give you an example, I'm just coming back because I don't have feedback. Is it possible to use Gemini APIs and be able to train the custom model? In this case, you can use it. It can be possible, but you have many changes to do to this collab. Firstly, just understand that we are using an open model because we have more hands on the system. Because when you are building an agent, you have to a part of giving him the reason, the actions, and describing all the tools you want him to take on hand. You are also giving to him the how can I say it? You are also giving to him the weapons to do it. It can be the technical words are you are giving him all the infrastructure. It can be a cloud TPU, etc., etc. That you can proceed that action. For example, when you are using function calling directly with an API with Gemini, what you should do, you should create firstly your LLM using. First, you should do another type of architecture, what we call key plus. So you have firstly you have the Gemini calling, you call from that the API, and secondly you build something in the middle. It can be a SLM, a small model, and at the other end, the small model, the small model will interact and just move up to take actions for you. Because here, what we are doing, we have already a model, which is in this case Gemma, and Gemma, we are giving him inputs, and from there, himself is taking actions with the tools we described. It's more easy to use an open model than use an API calling an API to do function calling. And in that case, you should have some limitation. And I don't think it would be possible with a collab. You should be using your own infrastructure because you have to implement. You have to use a specific data set. You have to define by yourself all the functions, the predefined function you have already in Gemma, and from there you have to a small model, or if you have a capability and a big infrastructure behind, you can build a model, a proprietary model, and from there with the API calling, you should do an API a function calling from there. So it's more about the view where you are putting yourself. For example, if you are a company, in many cases when you are dealing with model for companies, they prefer using open model and their proprietary data sets and have it in their own computers. But when you are using, for example, an open model, but you're putting it in the cloud using a data set, for example, a Kaggle, your open model is a free model. It's online. And the other thing is that your data set is not a proprietary data set because it's an open data set. That means your function calling should be on that environment, because just remind yourself the tools, you defined it for the model. So if you are doing a Gemini, you are doing Gemini API, you have limitations from the using of the API. Hope I've already model context portal with function calling. What's the big difference? So the model context protocol, MCP, and the function calling, let's say it's more about with MCP, you are using the context with the LLM by himself. It's more about one is using the capabilities of an LLM for doing for taking the action, and the second is more about building an agent or using the capability of an agent for doing actions. It's that the difference. It's more about what is the hands which are taking the action. With MCP, is the model who is taking the action via a protocol. It's more about giving instruction to a model, a specific instruction to a model, and the model is not in the React. The model is not doing the thinking part. Is not doing the thinking part. With MCP, you have a protocol, and the model is sticking to the protocol, doing action via a specific context. And the function calling, you have more a model. You are giving him the capability by defining function by himself, to using his capability to go through different actions from function. If you just come back in which is better, it depends. You don't have like a perfect way of doing. If, for example, you have you are dealing with problem internally of you have predefined functions, and you have predefined data, and you have predefined actions you want, for example, a system to do internally. The more secure between doing a MCP and function calling is doing a function calling. But if you have, for example, simple actions, or you have recurrent actions to do with a specific protocol where you know exactly what you want, MCP is more efficient, because you have less cost, and you have more accuracy on the action. But when you are using function calling, just keep in mind, it's more about giving the agents via an LLM the capability of taking the action. So your thinking is more about how to automate things, actions. You want to automate things to make your life more easier and simple. But model context and with MCP is more about having recurrent actions with deep action to do, and you want it to be specific, because you know exactly how to do it, and you have done, for example, 1 or 2 examples, and you can describe it to an LLM or a model, so the model can keep doing the same thing again and again and again with a specific protocol you define. So that the main difference between. And just to say, MCP is more used than function call, because function call is a new way of doing things. is coming with the trend of agentic function calling. But from my side, by my opinion, I think MCP is more have more proven his capabilities for enterprise, because enterprise cannot just like put all the money with local server, local agent, data sets. It's very expensive. But MCP is more easy. But when you want more security, you want more propriety, you want privacy, you can move on the function calling. We have seen significant rise of MCP protocol. Is their primary purpose to extend to the LLM capability? For example, I want my model to be able to understand data from my database. Is MCP the right choice? So for that question, you have two cases. Firstly, your primary purpose is to extend your LLM capabilities. So you have to think, do you have, what is the resources you have actually? Do you have like the database you have actually, the data from your database, is it critical? Do you want it to be secure? Do you want it to not be exposed? Just remind yourself with MCC protocols, you are more, you don't have hands on all the process. It's more about the LLM capabilities to be able to, you are extending the LLM capabilities, but you don't have hands on what have been done. But in the other hand, when you are talking about function calling, you have hands on all the process. You have on all, but there is a cost behind. So it's more about, is there privacy questions? Do you want it to be more accuracy? Depends on the view, on the cost, on the line, on what you what you want, how you want to implement it, and how long you want your LLM to be capable of doing things. Because with function calling, your LLM via the model should be able to understand and take action by himself. Just remind on the collab, I'll just explain that there is a specific part where your LLM have a thought. You have a context, you have a thought, and you have a description, you have tools you give it, and you should take actions. But with MCP protocol, you have a specific protocol from action you have already taken. So that means with MCP, you have less resource, but you have more work to do, and you don't have hands to all the process. But with function calling, you have hands to all the process, but it's more expensive, and it also asks to you to have how can I say it? To have more, not time, but you have to have more running time on your infrastructure, to have more infrastructures on your side. So it's that's the main way of thinking. You have, it's two options. You have to decide to do a decision matrix with all the parameters to take in account. So okay, if there is no question, Ismail, I think you want to speak. Please just go ahead. If you have a question, you can just open your mic and try to, or you can write it on the chat. So let's move. I just want someone to be volunteer, like I said, to help me to go through the technical, through the open workshop part, because I want you all to do it by yourself, by doing it. So the next thing, actually, we are going to move to Hugging Face market. Hugging Face model models. So we can like download it from there. There is also Kaggle. You can also use Kaggle for the same task. Yes, you can also use Kaggle for the same task. And when you just try to check on the resources, in the resources on the collab, they used Kaggle to implement the same thing we are going to do. But we are going to use. Okay, let me just share with you this link, so you are also in the same page with me, so we can keep moving together. Okay, this is another keyword. I just want you to go there and check. So here we are. So here you have just say like Hugging Face is the GitHub of models, of AI models, is the GitHub of AI models. And here we have 1 million models free here, and it's just sort by trending. Actually, you can see that the model who have been downloaded a lot during the last 8 days is this Black Forest Lab, and is a model who have been implemented for image purpose. You have image, it's more accurate for image to image task. So you upload the image and you transform it, and you write a prompt. You have on feedback another image, and you can see the second one is Gemma 3N. Gemma 3. So, but N. I'm not talking about Gemma 3N in this talk. So I will be searching for my. You have also Apple. If you code people use it. So let me just search here. We are searching about Gemma 3. Why is it taking it's taking a long time to download? So you can do already sent to you, so we can like move quickly. You have already the app deployed. One CPU. Okay, okay, I'm perfect on that part. Let me say get weather function. Okay, you have a quick description of what we are going to do. Hope you all guys, you are in the same page with me. So from there, just share the link so you can come through the process and now go back to the collab and try to copy. So it's more easy to handle the process. So perfect. Any questions? This can be if there is someone who have any issue, you can just share the screen, and I will be trying to guide you step by step through the collab. Is there anyone who wants to move? Because all the step is clear on our geometry cookbook already prepared. Is there someone who is volunteer to move? Don't be shy, please. Need someone to be exposed and be the hero of the day. No one there. So I should be doing by myself because there is no volunteer. Mambo VP, guys, you are sleeping. Okay. Let me just come back and explain steps, because you have already the code. If you click on the link on the V1 draft geometry, I've already shared with you. You can just do the same prompt. The prompt. Let me just share with you the prompt. You should have the entire code base to use on the collab. So I just want someone who can be for us the good students. Share the screen and go with him step by step on the collab, because myself I've already done it, so it's on my collab. So I just want someone to just show up with me to be the perfect to be the example guy. Don't be shy. I would just want someone to come with me on. I will be stop sharing if there is someone who want to share his collab, so we can move together. It's a workshop, so I just want you to act, not like LLM, but just act by doing it also by your side. Already explained. Let me just come back and explain each step. Maybe you are shy because you think it's difficult. It's very easy. It's very easy to do. First step for doing a calling function is to define the function. Like I said, to define the function, we can use, for example, JSON schema to do it. You can create a description like you can see on the first collab on the main resource I've already sent. So on that resource, you should just create a description of the function that the LLM can call using a structure that can be a JSON schema format. You can also use the OpenAI style if you use the model you want to download is not geometry, but it's open how they call it again, ChatGPT model. I don't know even the name. Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay. All those models are supported in HF transformers. HF is Hugging Face. Okay. That's the first step. The second step, you have to use the transformers pipeline with geometry to detect when the function should be called. But I want someone to help me by going through it. And the third step is to execute the function, return results to the LLM. And we can also do this test from that to execute your code. And what you can also use, you can combine, for example, LangChain, transformer agent, you can use Crew AI, but remind yourself that serverless deployment is costless if you are using, if you are doing all those multi-test assistant steps. Wrap your logic in a cloud function and fast API endpoint. And our use case I have already shared is to get the weather of Dar es Salaam. And you have on the link, you have a collab. And on the second link I shared, you have an example of an implemented on Hugging Face lab. You have already a cooked application that you can use to describe you step by step what you can do. So we have just like three steps to do. First step, define the function. Second step, use a transformer pipeline with geometry. And second, execute the function, return. And all that, it is plain on the collab. Just have to copy paste. So I just want a volunteer, anyone. It's not fun if I'm doing it by myself. Mambo VP. Thank you guys for the time. Already explained each step, and thank you again. Even if you have been shy during my presentation, don't worry, and I will not take it for myself. I will forgive you next time. Thank you. Have good afternoon, and use wisely all the resources and use AI for good. Never forbid.
Well, thank you so much, Kaza. It has been a wonderful moment with you. I think, like you just say, maybe people, they're shy, but we are very good at engaging. We really appreciate for the great presentation. Like I said, was speaking with my fellow colleague that Arthur is a Google developer expert with very good commitment in machine learning. And I think we have learned just from above. And next time we can start from where we can be able to catch up with all that you have done. But for now, you have given us a good start. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't present myself at the beginning. I'm shy. I don't want to talk a little bit for me. I'm Arthur Kaza, AIGD, by the way. But a fun guy. Just love to talk. and to do demos.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate
it. Mambo VP.
Oh, wow. All right. Next session, we'll have Uchral from Mongolia. She's Senior Manager of Strategic Partnership at IT Park, Mongolia. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you have been traveling a lot recently, but you agreed to come and share with us about storytelling, which I really appreciate that our community will be having this as a stepping stone to explain their technical capabilities to the world. Welcome, and we are excited to hear about you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. As Yesaya introduced, I am Uchral. So before going in, diving into the storytelling presentation, can you guys hear me well?
Loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm in a public cafe, and I wasn't expecting it's this noisy, and I'm really worried about the background noise that I'm having. And if it disturbs you to focus on the presentation, please just let me know, and I'll try to make it better for you guys to focus on the presentation. So my name is Uchral. I have a background in journalism and communications. So I met Yesaya in Singapore last year while we were participating in the Google event. And actually, I was one of the speakers talking about storytelling for specifically tech startups and tech products. So today, I'm really excited to share some insights on storytelling for tech. And I assume most of you work with technology companies, and some of you develop your independent tech products in your community. So I am here to help you convey your messages strategically through storytelling in the given time at this event. And yes, let's go. Well, I think I'm gonna change here. Well, yeah, I've been talking about storytelling for more than 5 years now, and I've been facilitating workshops for local startup companies and different storytellers to help them narrate their stories well. And yeah, I went to different places to talk about storytelling to help various communities to get the idea of storytelling and to understand the importance of the storytelling so that they can develop their businesses and attract clients. Maybe through the pitching, they can also attract investors, potential investors. And I keep doing this within my community as part of IT Park Mongolia as well. I work with many startups, mostly tech startups, and we incubate them as part of IT Park, and we help them to get investment, to get clients, and to sell their products within and beyond the markets. So yeah, these are the examples that I've been talking about: media, storytelling, communications in different countries. And I love doing storytelling, and I love talking about this. And this led me to initiate my personal project called the Linked Newsletter. So recently I'm working on my personal project called the Linked Newsletter, as you can see on the screen. And I write about startups, tech, and I tell different stories from different communities. Like if, let's say, you submit a story about your technology product or your startup, I can write your story and I can share this with different communities. So welcome. If you have any stories to share with me, I can narrate it, and then I can tell your story to different communities if you want some recognition and if you want different audiences or clients from different communities. So yeah, here I go. This is about your speaker today. So let's get into the main business. So how to get your story right. So what do you need first? A story and your unique story. Like everybody has a story to tell, and everybody's story is unique. like your product story, your startup story, and your entrepreneur journey, and everything is unique, and you don't underestimate the uniqueness of your story, the power of your story. So in order to do the storytelling well, you have to learn about your story first. Think about your story first and ask the question, what's my story to tell? And you have to like your own story so that you can tell that to other people, to convince them, to inspire them, and to make a difference through your story. And yeah, I get the question about storytelling. Like, people ask, what's storytelling? And I say, storytelling is the vivid expression of ideas, beliefs, personal experiences, and life lessons through stories of narratives that evoke powerful emotions and insights. Okay, I'm highlighting the words powerful emotions and insights. And moving on, storytelling is the use of stories or narratives as a communication tool to value, share, and capitalize on the knowledge of individuals. Well, so storytelling is technically the way to share your knowledge and insights with other people. So, why storytelling? It appeals to emotion, and emotions inspire actions, and actions bring growth, which contributes to a better community. So, why you are developing your product and why you're running a startup is that you're trying to create a better community within your community or as part of the world. So storytelling in a bigger picture, it contributes to a better community. So if you're telling a story, you're creating a better community. So let's learn about storytelling. So it really helps us to communicate naturally, like analysis versus motivation. Storytelling helps make abstract concepts meaningful. Like, let's say there's an idea about an application that tracks people's health issues or something like that. It can be anything. And you're going to make this abstract concept about this app in a meaningful way through storytelling. And storytelling helps connect people and ideas. Okay, let's say you talk about your story about the application, and it will attract people with the same interests, with the same values and same ideas, like, or same struggles. Some people want to use your application because they have the issue that you're trying to solve, and it will attract the clients. When you make this abstract concept about your application meaningful, make it into a story that people can hear, watch, or read, and in other many ways. And storytelling inspires imagination and motivates actions. And it gives a breathing space and allows different perspectives to emerge. And it creates sense, coherence, and meaning. So storytelling helps to develop valuable descriptions of the situations in which knowledge is applied and solutions are found. You have the knowledge and solutions that you recently discovered or previously discovered, and now you want to share this and in a meaningful way, strategically, to enter a new community or market, or attract clients, investors, or just your main audience. It can be anything. And it examines organizational values and culture. Like, let's say you're running a startup and you're using storytelling to convey your organizational values and culture and your principles and your products and everything. And it helps to communicate complex messages simply. Well, let's say you have a product that solves quite complex issues. And now you want to talk about this. But if you use too many technical languages, or if you use that, complex messages that you, complex solutions that you're creating, your audience is not going to understand, because they are not from technology backgrounds, or not all, investors get that complex technology solutions. So storytelling helps you leverage these complex messages in a simple way. That's one of the biggest power of storytelling. And it helps operate effectively in networks, like many different networks of tech makers, networks of investors and clients and other partners, stakeholders, and in the wide range of networks. And again, storytelling inspires change. Like people will be thinking, oh, why I've never heard about this? Or how is this, changing the communities? How is this impacting lives? And how is this bringing this simple yet meaningful, change to our communities and like that? So these are the whys people, are leveraging storytelling to sell their products, to sell themselves, like as part of their, personal branding, and to help them understand their products and to talk about their companies worldwide. Like storytelling is super viral across the world. If you can use this, strategically and correctly, you're like, part of these successful communities who are leveraging storytelling to for their benefits. Okay, first things first. In order to tell the stories, there are some things that you do first, which is to define your brand and image. Again, if you are developing a product, what's your brand and what's your image of that product? Or if you are running a startup, again, what's your brand and what's your image of the startup? So let's say your brand and image is like inspiring. You want to inspire people through your brand, through your product, and it's courageous, like to, convince people that you're ensuring impact within your community. And it's loving because your technology, your product is caring about other people. Like it's loving your community, loving your country. And in a bigger picture, it's loving the world. You should give such messages. And yeah, what's your foundation of your startup, your company, your product? So it's the impact that you're bringing. The impact can be citizens' complete well-being, or decreased cyberbullying, or whatever impacts that you're aiming to achieve. And your approach: transformed communities, improved health, transformed world. So you have to think about these things, like what's your brand and what's your brand image? Is it inspiring, courageous, loving? Is it impactful? And what's your approach? Well, again, you have to ask these questions or define this as your fundamentals for storytelling. So what's your vision? What's your mission? And what are your core values? You have to understand these first, and you'll help other people to understand them later. Leveraging storytelling. So after this session, I want you to reflect on the vision, mission, and core values of your own products, companies, and startups. Do you have any? Okay, so I like this part because you really have to nurture the entrepreneurial mindset to, talk about your startup story, your tech product story. It will I'm gonna go back to my screen and I'm gonna ask this. Well, how many of you are currently entrepreneurs? Maybe you can just raise hands so that I can get some sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 4 entrepreneurs, which is great. Entrepreneurial mindset is, it's not just for startups, and this is the adaptable and anti-fragile ones that will be successful. So if you're gonna tell stories like in your own way, uniquely, you have to develop this entrepreneurial mindset. Like, think about yourself as an entrepreneur, and think about your story as your product, and think freely, creatively, and you do not afraid to fail. Like, fail means, maybe nobody reads your story in the first place, or a few people will applause when you finally publish your story. But why entrepreneurial mindset is important to tell stories is that you should keep going no matter what. You should keep telling stories. You should keep writing them. You should keep, recording them. So I highly recommend you to develop entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to sharing what you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question. So how many of you read The Lean Startup by Eric Ries? You can raise your hand. Not yet. Okay, so I highly recommend you to read this book. Oh, Bryson. Great, there's one person. So this book is a great story in a whole. Like, this tells a story about how to develop the tech product from the scratch. So this book is technically the Bible for startups and tech makers. And I think, as I remember correctly, it was written over 15 or more than a decade ago. So why I like this book is that I have translated this book into my own language, like into Mongolian language, to help local startups to, think about entrepreneurship and startups in a different way. And I think it helped because it was one of the best-selling books in our country. So I highly recommend you to check this book out, to learn from its stories and have the big technology companies develop their products and how are they conveying their stories, like with the audience. And there's one message I really love from this book, which is create the product that your customers want, not you want. So the common mistake that the entrepreneurs make is that they create the products that they really want, they care about. But the question must be like, is your client want that? Does the investor get the idea of it? And the book tells the whole lot of stories about this, like creating the product that your client wants and to succeed in the markets. And to tell the better stories, we have to learn from those who are already successful and those who launched successful products in different markets, like let's say SpaceX, Google, Apple, Meta, and everyone. So when you, like after this workshop, when you read stories, when you watch stories from all these big tech giants, think about the idea that what messages are they trying to convey, what stories that are they trying to share, and what outcomes they're expecting from their stories. Like observe their stories from the storyteller's aspect, not the readers and clients aspect. Okay, it really helps to understand like how storytelling works for tech companies to attract clients in different markets, like across the world. So another message I wanted to share is aligning your stories with global values, global trends, and don't forget about what people are talking in different places, like across the world, not limited to your country. So currently, maybe you might have heard about 17 Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. So the whole world is aiming at reaching these 17 goals by 2030. And if your company, if your tech solutions are aligned with these 17 sustainable development goals, you can tell about this and you can share this with different partners, communities, and clients to attract more, let's say, investment, more clients, and more opportunities. Okay, let me go back to my screen. So seeing from this, how many of you are working towards ending poverty? Let's say your company is working toward it, or you're developing a product that's solving the issues related to poverty. You can raise your hand. Not yet, not sure, right? I'm pretty sure that one of you or a few of you are working towards this goal, because this is very important. And yeah, there's someone, Charles. And yeah, it starts with this: ask the questions. So my work aligned with these goals, and which goal am I contributing to? And when you learned if your product is aligned with these goals, you can be confident that you're contributing to the global development. You're contributing to solve global issues, and you can confidently talk about this in your stories. Like currently I'm developing a health application that's contributing to the SDG 3, which targets good health and well-being across the world. And it will help your product to be disseminated in the bigger among the bigger audience. So why I'm talking about stages is that I've been the Global Goals Ambassador since 2016, and I've been helping the startups to learn about SDG goals so that they can also learn about their own contributions to the global development. And whenever they go, like when they go to global events or when they meet investors from different markets, they can talk about their contribution towards the SDGs, and that really helps. And I want you to try this one as well. Okay, the next part is quite interesting. So it will share key elements to successfully narrate a story. So be careful about your word selection when you tell stories. Like whether it's written or it's verbal, because it greatly influences the clarity, elegance, and memorability of your prose. And it can evoke potent images, elicit strong emotions, and provoke profound thoughts. So use strong adjectives. Use that elements that can empower your whole story. So you can think of some adjectives like compelling stories, compelling narratives, exciting products, life-changing solutions, something like that. Focus on the word selection. And conflict development, the next one, the obstacle and challenges that your main character must overcome. This can be you or your client, if you're writing a success story, or your investor. It can be anyone, but put some obstacles in the story, the challenges in your story, and how you are overcoming this. Like, give the reader the space to travel through your journey as an entrepreneur or tech maker. And propelling the plot forward, and your story should strike a balance between difficulty and attainability. And the third one is underlying theme. So the essence of your story, the core idea or message. What's your core idea and message? That should be the center of your story, and every detail will evolve around these core messages. And thread that ties together the plot. So you think about the plot like you're going through a challenge, and think about the plot that you solve that challenge, and come up with that thread that ties together the plot, characters, and conflict, offering deeper insights into the human condition. And these are the don'ts that you should not do while telling stories, writing stories. So use jargon or business speak. It tends to be common among technology makers. Like, there are many adverbs and technical words and jargons used in technology, and only those who are working in tech, like let's say Flutter, or web DevRel, or what else, Web AI, and every other technical words that you use, your regular readers, your regular audience, most of them would not get it. So think about the 12-year-old when you write your story, and make it super simple. If you're using the technical words, explain it simply. So focus too much on yourself or your brand. Like, some people are really desperate about selling themselves, like talking about all the glories, victories, and to shine yourself, but that is not really interesting. So as I mentioned previously, think about the challenges, obstacles, and the different journeys of yours, and put them together in the story, and they should be the main message always. So do not focus too much on yourself or your brand, and don't make it obvious that you're trying to sell something. And leave plot holes, which really means that, like, so what happened, so it began like that, and you had these challenges and obstacles, and you were going through such struggles as an entrepreneur, and so what happened? So do not leave your audience with the question mark. Always give them the answer. Always have the plot in your story. And actually, this is a common mistake that most of the storytellers do. Like, they forget to summarize their story. They forget to, have the plot in their stories. Another don't is make your characters too perfect. Your characters must be relatable. Your audience should relate to them, to you. And like, you don't want to talk about something too perfect because that doesn't exist. So please avoid this mistake. Skim over the details. Well, you sometimes think that my readers don't care about the details. I don't want to go deep into these details and blah, blah, blah. But, they care, because once they begin reading your story or begin traveling through your journey, they want to know everything. So do not skim over the details. Yeah. Try to sell your product, your whys, and everything too hard. Just try to help your audience understand your product, your maybe journey, your insights as an entrepreneur or tech maker. And I will complicate the story. Try to avoid this. Like, some people write the whole saga about their products, like chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're not writing Harry Potter. You're not writing about the Lord of the Rings, and they cannot compete with these amazing stories anyway. So do not overcomplicate the story. Do not get lost in your messages. Try to make it a bit simpler than these overcomplicated stories. Okay, let's go to the do's when you do storytelling. Use visuals to show your ideas. The first thing, which means put some put some photos, put some videos related to your story. The photos are the ones you took yourself, whilst the actions relate to your story. So know your audience. The second important thing is, who's your audience? Your audience should relate to your story. If your audience is, the group of doctors, what would be your story? Think about it. If your audience is the group of teachers, it's going to be a different story that you tell. So know your audience, secondly, and then the third rule is outline your plot and core message. Again, your plot and core messages will be at the center of the story, and everything will evolve around this: details, main characters, or that should consist. And be honest. Some people do not, tell the honest stories. They just skip the honesty part. Like, be honest about your failures. Be honest about your success or, fuck ups, everything. And your audience will know it. They are not dumb. So don't be afraid to be honest. And at first, it feels a bit insecure, like as a storyteller myself, when I am bluntly honest about my failures or my insecurities, or everything as an entrepreneur and tech maker. I feel like I'm, taking the clothes one by one, and I have nothing to hide, something like that. So it feels not easy in the beginning if you are the beginner storyteller, but you'll learn it and you will feel that comfort in your own skin, your own style of storytelling. So you have to try different things to feel comfortable in your own storytelling process. So honesty is the big deal when you tell stories. And go deep. So in contrast of the skimming over the details, go about your eureka moments, go deep about your solutions, go deep about your struggles. Maybe if you struggled financially as a founder of a startup, go deep. Provide some details like why, because you didn't have the chief financial officer, or because you lacked financial knowledge. And go deep and explain it so that people also can learn from your mistakes and make it useful. Like, be productive and effective when you tell stories. Like, do not mention too unnecessary details. Do not try hard to make people, to impress people. Just make it useful, and it will also take some, you'll learn it in that way. Leave room for imagination. Maybe you will be wondering, like, well, you have to have the plot, you have to be clear about your goals, you have to provide details, and you have to conclude the story. But like, how am I leaving the room for imagination? So it's up to you. Maybe you can end your story like, stay tuned for the updated version of the product that will launch in 2 months, or it can be anything. So put yourself in the shoes of your audience and help them to imagine more about your story, your product, your company. Okay, these are the simple do's and don'ts, and we're quite in the middle of our session today, and I prepared 2 different types of storytelling canvas for you so that you can put everything together, like what you've heard throughout my session, and reflect on narrating the stories using this storytelling canvas. So I will briefly explain this canvas to you. So think about 5 W's and 1 H. So as you can see, 5 W's are who, what, when, where, why, and 1 H is how. So when you provide information, do not miss 5 W and 1 H. Who did what, when, where that happened, why that happened, why did you start doing this, or why are you telling this story, and who is this story about, what is this story about, when did that happen. And the information should answer these 6 questions. And your audience, who's your target audience? So the audience will be everyone in the continent of Africa, or the Americas, Asia, or the whole world, or specifically, as I mentioned previously, the group of technology makers or group of entrepreneurs, or this can be investors. And if you define your audience, you're going to have sense of narrating your story in a specific way. So what do you want to achieve with that target audience? You want to sell something, or you want them to learn about something, lessons, knowledge, insights, or you just want to simply inspire them? What's your goal? What do you want to achieve? Think about this. And go to the story. Who's the character? Is it you, or is it your co-founder, or is it your boss, or is it your client? And what was the conflict? What was the problem statement? What were the challenges? You can simply write in this template before narrating your story and connections. Like, how are they connected? How is this conflict connected to the solutions or the product or the plot? Think about it. And the baseline. What will be the main baseline of the story? Maybe you should have the main idea, like you write an essay, right? Main idea, and there will be other supporting ideas, and there will be tied to the main goal that you're trying to achieve through your story. And distribution. So what will be the format of your story? Is it more like the monologue, or is it going to be written, or it's going to be an audio story? And if it's the visual story, what would be the design of it? What will be your tone of voice? And the channels, the last thing you should consider. Are you posting this on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook and other blogging platforms like Substack, Medium.com, or your own website and something like that? So when you define all these things, it's going to be much more easier to narrate a story. And then you will be completely pushing the button to publish it. Don't be afraid to push the button, because if you are a first-time story writer or storyteller, it's always gonna be a bit scary, because you will be thinking like, what if people will judge me? What if people won't like my story? What if nobody's gonna read it? It's completely okay. The thing is that you should keep on. And the other canvas I brought to you it's quite similar, but also quite different from the previous one. So your objective, you like to tell a story about whom or what, and with the objective, what will be your main goals, and think about your audience. So what will your audience think about your story? What should they feel about your story, about your product? And what will be the actions of your audience take after they reading your story? Maybe subscribe to your channel, buy your product, or they want to work with you and so that you can hire them, or what is the actions that you're expecting from your audience? You can list everything down using this, and your highs and lows that you want to include in the story. Okay, my highs is I was secured the seed round of investment from the venture capital, but the lows was that the funding amount was not enough to pay the bills related to my startup, or to develop my applications, to hire top-notch developers. Or what were your lows and highs throughout these stories? You can just list them down to help you also imagine the structure of your own story. And what will be your core message? What are the key points that you want your audience to remember? Have to be remembered. Think about it. And also, this can be super strategic. In your chapters, what are the chapters of your story? The beginning and the peak of your story, and the plot, and the end of the story. Or this can be anything. You are the author, so you can think freely and creatively about your chapters. But don't forget to include the main parts, that your core messages, your plots, and the things that I mentioned previously. Yep. So if you are not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you launched too late. So, you know, whether you are an entrepreneur or you are a storyteller, if you are doing, you know, these things for the first time, it's natural that you get embarrassed by the first version of your products and stories. Don't worry, be embarrassed, but you know, improve as time goes by. And yep, we came to the end of the presentation. And do you have any questions?
All right. Thank you so much, Uchral. It was a very informative presentation, and we really appreciate me and my team. I think we were careful listening to whatever you were presenting, which is very nice. One question, I think, from Arthur Kaza: how to determine the suitable brand or image for my startup or my own profile as techies? Yeah.
Well, that's a great question. So, yeah, it's gonna take you quite long to determine your brand, to set the tone of your brand, or even as a tag maker, how's your personal brand. So you have to try different things from time to time, and do not rush to settle with, you know, one idea and believe that that's your own, you know, personal brand, or that's the image for your product. Try different things and try to learn about similar products or similar people that, you know, that who are trying to do the similar things. And you have to try different things in the first place, and you'll understand like which way works, and that's how you figure out your own brand. So let's say products and companies, sometimes they change their logos frequently because they're trying to communicate with their clients through the logos, and if that doesn't work, they change it. And do not be afraid to change. Do not be afraid to move from one to another until you settle with your, you know, best image. So let's say if you're using LinkedIn as your leverage for your self brand and image, talk about your most, you know, favorite tech products, or talk about certain things consistently so that people will get the idea of you, Kaza, as the voice of AI or the voice of Web3 and something like that. And once they have the idea that what you're doing, what you're talking about, they will, once you launch the product, once you develop the product, they will get the idea that, oh, Kaza is doing this because he talks about this, he cares about this. And it will help you to, developing your personal brand will help you to sell your brands and products later on if you do any. I hope this answers your question.
Great. I think that's it. Very well and detailed explained. And, you know, I have my colleague here, Edgar. Maybe he can just give you a final remarks. Edgar, are you still there?
And yes, thank you so much for the presentation. And during, like I said, I like the story canvas. And when you reached that point, something that just came up in my mind. I was like, you know, engineers have like poor communication skills. No offense. But then when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay. So now you have a structured version of where to arrange your thoughts. so that you can have like a proper presentation that you can have to your, let's say, your boss, your retrospective team in the morning, or maybe your investors. I think this is like peak stuff. And most of the people that we have here, they are almost all engineers. So I think they benefited most from your presentation. Those are my remarks. I don't think if I can add more salt on top of this, but really, really thank you. And I'm so sorry, and because I have to present this from my cafe, typical stuff, but great one.
Thank you, Edgar, for your comment.
Yeah, well, sorry, Uchral, but we have a few comments from the chat. From Kibwana, he say I could add that alongside the focus of being on start, Dave can learn from this, the purpose of sharing knowledge, especially with upcoming dev into the community and the industry. And then for a long time, I kept quiet about my journey because I thought sharing both the highs and the lows made the vulnerability. But you inspired me today, Uchral, and start to share its own. That's impressive.
Thank you, Kibwana, and yeah, thank you so much for sharing your comments. Yeah, that's so right. For tech makers and developers, you have that different personalities than the other group of professionals. Like you tend to be quite introverted, or you have to share your stories because, as Kibwana said, your knowledge and story would not be different from others or would not be unique. But that's so wrong, because your story is very unique and your stories matter, and you just have to have the courage to tell them, and you just have to figure the ways out how to tell the stories through what channels and what to talk about, when to talk about, and you have to determine all these things, and do not be afraid to tell your stories, because like from the practice, I met lots of hundreds of tech makers, and they have the stories to tell. And once they started talking about these stories, they start achieving their goals. Like they get hired companies they were looking at, and they, become successful storytellers. They perform very well on YouTube or other blogging channels and get invited to share their stories at global stages, and the opportunities begin to show up once you tell your stories. So yeah, I encourage you to share your stories and start writing and telling your stories from today.
All right, great. I think that's it we have, and you have spent quite a wonderful time with us. And we would like to welcome you to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, next time you have a chance. This was virtually, but next time, maybe you can come physically. We really appreciate it. And maybe after this, you can share your presentation where we can share with the team. As you can see, majority of people want to get that story canvas so that we can customize based on our experience, and maybe can help us moving forward. Maybe if you have special remarks to wrap up, and we wish you a wonderful time.
Thank you. There's a kid running behind me. Thank you. I really enjoyed my time with you guys. And if you have any questions, you can reach out on LinkedIn. I will leave my LinkedIn address right here in the message box. This is me. You can find me and we can chat about your stories and any questions that you got related to storytelling. And of course, I can share my presentation. This is super simple and very minimal, but I hope it will help you to read the information that I've shared. And yeah, I will be happy to connect with everyone from the session today. And again, I appreciate GDG organizers for inviting me to talk about storytelling, which is my passion. And yeah, thanks a lot and good luck on the upcoming sessions and events for your chapter and chapter organizers and everyone in this session. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Back to everyone. I think thank you so much for joining the session today. It was really inspiring, and this marks the end of our session we had today. And it was very fruitful, energetic, electrifying, and we are super excited. And whatever we have learned and covered today, I think will be important to help our future improvement. Thank you, Uchral. Thank you, Arthur, for joining us and give us the material. Still waiting. I'll be able to share Uchral LinkedIn profile before she left. Uchral, you did not share your LinkedIn profile. Let me see if I can have here quickly.
Oh, I just typed it. I'll pass the link here.
Oh wow! Thank you so much.
Chat section. Yeah.
Great, we get it now. Edgar, do you have any final remark as we are closing our session today?
I have nothing much other than saying thank you for all the participated. The meeting is really wonderful to see the community going, because we didn't have any other meetup since the year started, I think, or maybe there were one or two, but seeing you all here is perfect. And super thanks for our presenters. Appreciate your time, and the Yesaya for organizing the event. Actually, this is super fun. From the Hugging Face stuff, so now you have free models to play with, and then you can tell stories about what you created. Super. Yeah. I hope I'll see you again, right?
Yeah, sure. Bye, everyone. Be sure to share your stories with Uchral. Give you the good opportunity so that she can tell to the world your story. And until next time, I think we can have more of this. I think it is kind of nice. Thank you and goodbye.